Okay, we're gonna call the January 25th, 2023 Fire Service Advisory Commission to order. 6 o'clock. Approval of minutes is our first agenda item. We have 2 minutes to approve. They were sent out to each of you. October 20th, 2020, it was a regular meeting, and our December 28th special meeting for the selection of rescue or firefighter of the year. So I need an approval of first minutes, October 22nd, or any changes.
I make motion to approve.
Motion approved, second. Any comments or any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Second one, December 28th, special meeting. Need a approval?
Motion to approve.
Any discussion? All right, need a vote?
Aye.
Carries?
You want verbal or visual?
Both.
Both.
Please.
Aye.
Next one is the election of officer. Our first officer position is the commission chair. So we will take nominations for the chair position for the Fire Service Advisory Commission.
Nominate Brandon Burton again if he's able to do it.
Second.
Any other nominations? Sure, were you willing to? Any other nominations? Any other discussion? We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Sir?
All right, thank you, sir. Next on the agenda,
You'll have to move.
yeah, I'm okay sitting right here, so. Next on the agenda will be voting for vice chair. We'll open the floor for nominations, vice chair,
Nominate Austin vice chair.
and I'll second.
Nominate Tony.
I've seconded one if somebody wants to
I'll
second.
second.
Yeah.
My bad, I catch on.
All right, we've got 2 nominations. Any more? All right, with this, we'll do secretary. Can you give us some paper slips?
That works, that works.
Three to two vote. Tony McAllister is our vice chair.
Congratulations. Notice on here, I probably should have mentioned earlier, do we need to reappoint our secretary? Mr. Zahn?
Yes, we do.
Okay, all right. With that, with the seating of Mr. McAllister, we also need to appoint secretary. Open the floor up for nominations on that. Chair will move that we continue with Mr. Zahn. Anyone else? All right, nominations are closed. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda, and I believe that was passed out to you, is to set the date and time of the fire commission meetings for the year, for calendar year 2023. I noticed there's a highlight for the 15th. Do you have any?
That is the fire conference.
Okay.
Was, the reason why we highlighted that. If you wanted to move it, depending on people going, the possibility of having a quorum, that kind of stuff. We, as emergency services, would like to attend that, so, holding that meeting, if we can move it one way or the other. Or generally, we have, during the summer, not done at least one of those. And so there's options there right off the bat.
So you say in the past, you could not have one
Yes,
if it's a conflict?
yes.
Yeah, I think sometimes we've canceled either July or August.
July?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd recommend we leave it on the calendar, but we can cancel it as time nears.
Okay.
But as far as the 15th, has anyone got any recommendations on changing that? I'm looking, the week before that would be an 8th,
The 8th.
Right.
and the week after that's the 22nd. Or do we want to cancel that month altogether?
Motion we move it to the 22nd. Is everybody okay with that?
I'll second that.
All right,
22nd is generally the rescue commission night for theirs as a conflict for this building.
can we meet jointly or meet after them?
We can.
Okay, how long are their meetings typically?
Usually, we would do a 7 o'clock meeting for you and a 6 o'clock meeting for them. We can publish it at 6:30,
Okay.
and, sometimes theirs are very quick. I mean, it depends on what's going on. So we can publish that as a time change for that to 6:30, and if it doesn't start till 7,
That's fine, okay. And I'll amend that we add, well, y'all already got a motion in a second, so we don't need to change the time unless you want us to vote on changing the time.
we just have to publish it.
All right, I don't think that's necessary, so. All those in favor, moving to the 22nd? All right, we've amended that. Are all the other dates acceptable? You have January the 18th listed. Is that for 2024?
That is for 2024, so
Okay.
that the first meeting
Is already published?
is already published.
Okay. I'll need a motion that we approve this whole set of dates.
I'll make a motion, we accept this date for 2023.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. None opposed? Motion carries with the change to June the 22nd. Okay. Next on the agenda is appointment of fire commission committees. We'll appoint an incentive committee and a radio committee liaison. Director Crine, if you'll just, for the new folks, explain what the radio committee is, liaison, and the incentive committee.
Sure. The radio committee, what we have, was put together as we start to move and increase, our ability to talk to each other with digital and try to better our system. A committee was put together. That committee is made up of a bunch of fire rescue personnel that deal in radios. A lot of them are volunteers, staff, also. And, what we need is basically one of the members, from the commission to be appointed to that group. And then on the incentive one, we take a rescue and a fire person. Every year, we just look at what training, what requirements, for the incentive money. We try to do that in February. We will do that in the next couple of weeks so that we can get that out. People don't lose any months, because October comes very quick. September 30th comes very quick. We want to make sure everyone gets the training hours they need or any other stuff they need, so we try to get that list out. So we would need a representative also for the incentive committee.
Any questions? All right, I'll open the floor up to nominating a radio committee liaison.
Nominate Bruce.
Second.
All right. Hearing none other. Nominations are closed. All in favor, Mr. Brock being liaison? Aye. Aye. None opposed? Congratulations.
Appreciate you. I didn't get a chance to vote.
Incentive Committee. Who was it? Can you refresh us on who that was last year?
Tony was on the committee last year.
Okay.
Well, I'll start out.
Tony again.
Second.
There's none else. We'll close the nominations. Motion and a second. All in favor, Tony? Aye. Opposed? There is none. Thank you, sir. Radio Committee report. Mr. Zahn.
We have not had a meeting, but we are making some progress. The FCC is still holding us up for the frequencies for the Salem water tank. We're also, Scott has arranged for us to be on the new Duke Tower up at Bad Creek, which is going to vastly improve the communications of the county. In the meantime, we're just waiting for some fire departments, rescue squads to report in what radios they have.
One other thing, it'll help specific Point Shiloh, the new rebuilding, the new mill, we will be putting in conjunction with the owner, we are putting in a fire and a police repeater, on that building. So down in that hole that we've always had trouble, we will actually have a county repeater. The county has helped with the broadband system, brought in, broadband to that, property so that it can tie in for our radio system. So the partnership is they're covering the cost. So, they had to put a system in their building, to make the building, pass the communications regulations. So we went to them with a partnership, to help them out, with that. So it's gonna vastly improve both fire, rescue, and, police, signals there, as we go through. It may, as we move forward, we'll see what else needs to be there as we go forward. The other piece on the 130 tower is AT&T will be on that 130 tower, but we may be at 300 foot at the top of Bad Creek already. So the top of 130 had 300 foot to it, is where that digital repeater would be. Again, we're gonna have to wait for the FCC for licensing and stuff, but we are trying to do that with the the Salem Water Tower also, as those advancements continue for that. But we did get permission. Duke Energy, while they build it, is going to be installing at their cost the installation. We are providing the product. Again, another partnership that's been good for the radio side. Been working heavily with Justin on that. He's been very progressive on trying to get us there. There's still a lot to do. When we were kind of behind the 8 ball getting on that tower, but they were able to work us in. So that's a huge benefit. That tall, especially in the Jocassee Gorge area for rescues and all of that, for that, so.
Can I add something? Originally, we had planned a system where everyone was gonna have the same type of equipment, so that if a change was made in the county, a major change, which required reprogramming radios, it could all be done in the middle of the night with nobody knowing about it. But we had some rescue squads and fire departments who had to try to go out and buy the cheapest equipment they could find and not go by what we told them to go by. And because of that, we can't do this programming in the middle of the night, because it had to be all or nothing. So it's gonna end up costing everybody a lot of time and trouble. It's gonna cost those particular departments money, because they're gonna have to pay for their own programming. So in the future, if we ever have to do something like this again, God forbid, it would behoove us to make sure it's done right at the beginning, and no one had a choice of what to go out and buy. They didn't come to us and tell us they were doing it, they just did.
I've got a question. Why is it gonna cost them to program? Is that not a service that the county can provide?
So we do not have a programming person who does it. We contract to, every time we programmed, we are trying to set it up to where we would have people, but, at presently, we contract to do all the programming. Each radio gets programmed and we pay $35 a radio to do that. We have some people that do it, but they're not professionals, and that's part of the problem. We have looked at many radio, that they complained about not being able to talk on our system, and that our system is broken and it's not working, and so-and-so, I can't talk to so-and-so, or so-and-so can't hear me. And in most of those cases, if you go back to the radio, it's the programming in the radio, that it was done by someone and they didn't have everything set up the same as the other radio. I don't claim to be an exact radio person, I'm learning as we go, but that's why we're saying, we were going to, over the air, and it could be reprogrammed. And now, we're not gonna be able to do that, because number one, every single model number, every single radio that is different, all have to have the system built to do it over the air, instead of if we were all the same, under the one thing, the system would talk to us, we would be able to do, okay, 3 is gonna be reprogrammed today, 4 is tomorrow, those kind of things. That's not 100% out of the question, but it's not in the budget to build it out for every single radio, every single different change we have, not to mention the time, and our communications says they won't do it, because they do it once for us, but they're not gonna do it for all the different stuff that we have in the fleet.
So the county communications or the contractor?
The county communications. Now,
So-
the contractors will be glad to take our money.
But, so the existing county personnel on the sheriff's office side won't support it?
Correct.
Okay.
I must jump to the defense of those who have been trying to do the best job they can at programming the radios, but we have never been given from the sheriff's department a code plug of what they wanted. So without that, we've been doing the best we can.
Right.
And of course, there are hundreds of differences that have to be programmed in to the radios, so they'll work right. I don't think we still have a code plug yet.
We don't. We have asked for it. We've sent the information, but we still don't have that.
So you're saying that if we have these compatible radios and people don't, you can't program the compatible radios because then the non-compatible won't work?
Over the air.
I'm trying to check up.
Over the air.
Okay,
So we would be able to program the compatible radios.
yes, sir.
So tonight, you would go to a channel and we would send a frequency and we'd reprogram your channels. Depending on how that reprogram went, every person that doesn't have those now has to be changed. And so the possibility, depending on how the programming changed, which tower, when you add a tower, we have to add the ability to scan that tower. We found that in a lot of radios. We've added towers over the age, and they happen to clone a radio that was programmed prior to us adding a tower. And so everyone complains that this radio doesn't work. Well, it's not scanning the towers of the advancements we did. And so then all the radios from the change made, all those other radios will have to be hand programmed.
Do we have a number about how many that is?
No.
Because you ain't got all your data yet.
Departments and squads haven't delivered the information we've been asking for at least a year.
What have you got so far?
I'd have to look and make a list.
Okay.
I do have a
Okay.
bunch of them who have sent me in what we need.
Just from my knowledge, 2 years ago, of the size of the fleet of the radios, this has been dragging on for probably 20 years. I'm tired of talking about it. So as a chair, I'm gonna make a motion that we instruct emergency services in their budget to build out a radio technician that can handle all this stuff. That'll be at our disposal, so we're not having to contract out. Each department's not having to worry about, I've got to call this company or this company. There's a dedicated person. They may already exist in the county, but we need to fund that. We need to have that position. The size of the fleet that we got of radio communications, this is, I'm gonna go off. This is ridiculous. I'm surprised we hadn't had a major catastrophe. I found notes when I cleaned out the old chief's office for 10 years ago that we were hammering this. It's time we get it done.
Been that way since '92.
Yeah, so,
I will second his motion.
I'll say.
all right, another motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. None opposed.
We, at the radio committee, we have been talking about the need for that position for quite a while.
Okay.
Yeah, speaking of the committee, since I'm on this thing now, is your schedule y'all meet that I need to make notes of, or?
We'll work on that with you, what's gonna
Okay.
work for you in time.
Gotcha.
It is very frequently to get the number of people.
Yes, sir, okay.
Director Crime.
First thing, welcome. I just wanted to, as we move forward, to challenge you, each and every one of you to, as we go through, we cover a lot of things, in our meetings and those. But the importance of you getting back to your chiefs and communicating with them and making that a two-way street, on a frequent basis. As we come in, I frequently hear, well, I didn't know about that, those kind of things. We try to publish what we can out there, but that you are our their voice to us, in making decisions, just like the motion that you just did for us to move forward with things. So, as that goes forward, the only way that happens is you to communicate, individually with those departments. If it's in a meeting and you have a regional meeting, which some commissioners have done in the past with their chiefs, or if it's truly a minimum of phone call and email back and forth to get those comments so that you are able to represent not just the department that you individually are associated with, but your region. So please help us. That just helps us do a better job of getting the word from everyone to us, to try to do what you need, as we try to better the service. Because that's why we're here, that's why we come together, is to better the operations, to better, things that may be misunderstood or things that we need to look forward to. I want to get to, where we're looking down the road instead of the past. And by communication, constant, communication, and by any means, please, my office is open, my phone numbers, you have it. If you don't, you know, I'll be glad to give it to you. You know, it doesn't have to be just tonight. Please, you know, reach out if you need something from us, if it's pressing. Please don't hesitate to come to us with that as you find those things out. And then I do want to specifically, recognize the new person on the block, Bruce Brock.
Well, which we will put it, yes, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for willing, thanks for being here, and, look forward to working with you, as we move forward, as I do all the commissioners. A lot is going on, and I know, you know, we're gonna have a productive year as we better our fire service.
Thank you, sir. Chief Smith? Yes.
If it would be helpful, if the commission would like, the day after we have our meeting and you've approved the minutes, I'd be happy to forward the minutes out to all the fire chiefs, if that helps. Think about it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I know a lot of them do watch it on YouTube, but no, it'd be good to, after we vote on them, yeah, to go ahead and shoot them out to the chiefs. I think that'd be great. Chief Smith?
So to ensure that we continue to provide the very best that we can for the citizens in Oconee, we have worked on a deployment model change, and this is kind of twofold. We did have a good many people that were staffed out in the stations by themselves. I think that's overwhelming for a lot of people. I don't think we're real effective when we work by ourselves, especially on calls. So we've come up with a model that's gonna allow people to be able to work in pairs and teams. We've split the county up into 4 regions. I've got Chief Norris here with me tonight, and he's really been instrumental in setting this up and how we're gonna deploy this. But the majority, the regions will have, each region but one will have 2 units, 5 days a week, that's able to respond, kind of offsetting in that region with 2 40-hour people on a truck together. They'll be working 5 days a week and not 4 days a week, and 8 to 4, and they'll be basically stationed at that station all day and respond from there. We've built in some training days for regions to train together, but several days a week, there should be a truck at each volunteer station. The other reason for this deployment change is we have a district, Station 3, whose call volume has just exploded. They're 2022, they ran almost 900 calls, or had almost 900 calls. And that's a tremendous burden on the volunteer department. So part of this deployment change will put 2 people at Station 3, 24/7, to assist with those calls in that region, and still do the other responses. So, Chief Norris, if you want to elaborate on how we've split up the regions, just so they know.
Absolutely. So Region 1 is gonna be your Cleveland, Holly Springs, Long Creek, Mountain Rest area. That's Region 1. So that will have our north truck, that'll be 21-1, and we'll have 2 personnel, and then 1 apparatus that will have 2 40-hour personnel. So we've staggered it, where, for an example, 1 truck may be at Station 4, Mountain Rest, while the other truck is at Station 24. That way they're kind of neighboring. That way if they have to get to 10 or to 9, help is coming, it's relatively close. Region 2 is gonna be the northeast side of the county. That'd be stations 11, 14, 11, 17, 16 is all in that region. We're gonna focus our efforts, 11, 16, and 14. Region 3 is gonna be the southern end of the county. That is stations 8, Oakway, 15, that'll be the southern end. That will have a 24-hour truck and a 40-hour truck. And then Region 3, which will be Friendship and Station 3 and Station 13, they will have 2 personnel at Corner Shallow. That'll be 7 days a week. And then they'll have a 40-hour truck that will jump between Crossroads and Friendship. So they'll have 24-hour staffing there. The only region right now that does not have a 24-hour truck is Region 2. We understand there's a need there, and we're gonna work on it. In the meantime, until we can get that is fully staffed. Quite naturally, we know the problem with the fire service right now is trying to stay fully staffed. So in the meantime, when we start this, effectively February the 6th is our start date, our planned start date for this model. That is a Monday. We may not have 2 trucks in each region, but we're gonna make an attempt to at least have 1 truck in each region based off staffing. That's kind of our minimum staffing model, Monday through Friday, will be 1 truck in every region. We currently have 3 job openings currently. We made 3 offers today. And so hopefully in the coming months, we'll be fully staffed. We do have several we're gonna have to send to recruit school, so could be a couple months on them. But we hope that this will be a better mentorship instead of just hiring recruits, sending them to training 6 months, putting them on the truck by themselves. At least now we can pair them up with somebody that has some experience and maybe mentor them, maybe we can keep them a little longer. So a lot of moving pieces with this. We sure there's gonna be some bugs and kinks that we gotta work out as we move. If there are issues, please let us know. That way we can get them resolved. But hopefully this will create a little bit better retention for us as we move forward, try to hang on to some folks.
I tried to keep up with you, but I couldn't.
Oh, you have
Go back
emails
over to the
too.
station, yeah, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
I'll email it to everybody first thing.
Yeah, if you got a graphic or something you can email out, I think that'd be.
And the plan is, you know, if they're stationed at that station gets told for a call, they're driving that fire truck to the call. If the neighboring unit that's at 4 today is needed, they're gonna respond in their pickup truck down there. To see us to not take that fire truck all the way out of the district unless that station was toned for the call as well. So, the goal is to, you know, get those trucks rolling, but it's also to have, you know, more staffing in a region rather than just one person in a station that's less affected. So that's the plan, trying to go more at it as a team and a crew and not individual.
We try to place them strategically throughout the county. That way it reduces response times and you're getting a couple of folks versus just 1 or 2. So Monday through Friday, staffing's pretty good, fully staffed. Strategically placed, that way you can get help in a timely manner. Another thing worth noting, averaging out, you're looking at 16 to 24 hours per week that members will be in the volunteer houses, so.
In each house.
In each house, so.
So they would rotate, like if they come today, they come to Mount Rest, and the next day they'd be at Long Creek.
That's correct.
If
That's
one's at
correct.
Holly Springs, the next day they'll be at Station 10.
That's correct. So, that's Region 1. So just for an example, I think I kind of just ran it backwards. So the 24-hour truck may start out on a Monday at 24. Tuesday, they would go to, Cleveland. Wednesday, they may go to, Long Creek. Thursday, they'll be at Mountain Rest. Friday, they go back to 24. The 40-hour truck kind of works it in reverse. So they'll start at 4 on Monday, then go 9, so forth that way. So that way, they're on opposite ends of that region at all times. Friday is kind of, since there's only 4 stations on that, in that area, that region, Friday, we have them at 9 and 24. That way, they can kind of get to either direction fairly quickly. Again, strategically placing them, that way they can kind of help the greater good versus Mountain Rest is kind of, you know, it's up there. So
All
if
by
we,
itself.
yeah, so unfortunately, if we put them at Mountain Rest and they're needed at 24, that's a haul. But whereas if they're at 9 and 24, we got a crew that can get to 10 fairly quickly. We got a crew that can get to 4 fairly quickly. So again, helping out the greater good with the limited resources.
And we did, like I said, built in a training day, and it's 3 hours on one day a week for 2 regions, and a different day of the week, 3 hours for the other regions. So that's why he said about 16 hours a week in each of the stations. So, because it's imperative for them to train together as well. So, so we tried to build that into the schedule every week. So, and like you said, there may be some hiccups with this, but this is hopefully gonna help with some longevity with our people. I could only imagine what it would have been like if, when I was 18, putting me at a station by myself and let me make all those decisions and things. So I think that's overwhelming. So this is a opportunity to try to change that model a little bit, change that culture, so.
And Station 3 is gonna have personnel 24/7. calls, I can see why.
Now, will those staff respond to other districts or on mutual aid, or will they?
Only if Station 3 was going to that call already.
Okay, so are they gonna be backups to, let's just say their neighbor is 12, doesn't answer? Are they gonna be sent to cover that if that's in that card, or?
If it was already in the card and Station 3 would have already been spent up in the normal box alarm now, they'll be doing it.
Okay, but normally that they won't.
We're not changing any box alarms or any calls for them to go there.
So basically, like if it's a car wreck in Friendship's district,
Yeah.
Friendship don't answer, is that unit gonna respond?
No.
Okay, because you'll have other units
That's
at
right.
13 or 12 or
That's right.
whatever other.
And at night, after the 40-hour people go home, you still got a north and south truck that's doing like they always have.
Okay.
So they'll still be doing like that. And with this schedule, it also frees up the captain to be a supervisor, so it gives us another roaming vehicle to help with those type calls as well. They can supervise. Right now, they're on a truck with one other person and don't really supervise a crew. Of course, that's if we're full staffed. If we're short, the captain can be on a truck. But that gives the captain an opportunity to be that way as well as the battalion. So we do have extra people throughout the system that can help with those kind of calls as well.
And so weekend will just be the same as it always has,
Yep.
except for Station 3?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. The other thing I got was, honor guard, and, I know when I was at Westminster as a municipal chief and Chief Burton was at Walhalla, we had an honor guard that was basically made up of municipal, firemen. And everybody in the county, I won't say everybody, but most everybody in the county has needed or utilized that honor guard at some point in time. And, I don't know what their participation level is for the municipal, honor guard. I know we used them when my dad passed away last year in February, and I was very thankful for that. I would like to see more participation from the county, from our paid staff as well as the volunteer departments. So, basically what I would like to do, and I've reached out to, and I think Gabe Haney has done a fabulous job with the team over the years. I've reached out to him, to ask if he would be willing to serve on a committee to help just kind of put together some guidelines for us for an honor guard, maybe what a uniform would look like, when and how we would utilize the honor guard, for what events and how, if departments want the honor guard. So, and then from that, put that out to the volunteer departments and hopefully get some participation with that. I don't know that there's ever been any paid county staff that was a part of that, but I'm gonna encourage our staff that wanna be a part of that team. I really would like to see that team get back to a number that if there's something going on, that we, as the fire service, can pay honor to our people and not have to, I appreciate the sheriff's department, they got an honor guard, but we shouldn't have to be asking them to step in and help do something for the fire service, and that's just my opinion. Hopefully, the municipal members it will all be one big team. But my goal was to put together a committee to kind of help us come up with some guidelines for the county, and from that, try to get some more participation, from that. So, that's all I got.
Is the municipal honor guard defunct now?
Is it what?
Is it defunct?
I don't know. There's, a lot of the members have, retired, left the fire service. There's several from Westminster that now work for the county. So I think what few members they have is left in Seneca. I really don't know how many members they've got. I know y'all had a couple at one time. I don't even know if they still work at Walhalla. So I really don't know. I just, when Tony's brother passed away, of course, they didn't need the honor guard, but I'm just thinking, who do we even have this on the honor guard anymore, So, and I don't know what the county's perception of it was when we did it as municipalities, but there really was no, hey, can we be a part of that, or let's do this together, or whatever. And I'm not trying to take away from their teams if they have one. I just would like to have more participation from the county, volunteer departments and our staff. And it may be participating with that, with the municipal teams. Did that answer your question? I probably didn't.
It,
'cause I
it,
don't- I
it
don't
does.
know.
I think there needs to be a conversation, because we've had this conversation before, and opinions apparently have changed. But I just know how it was in the past, and if it's a true partnership, I'm open to that, and I think my departments would be. That's something probably we need to have a discussion with all the departments and
I just think it's
mine as
important, I
well.
think it's important for us to have whoever, and if the municipal has a large enough team to do it, I'm fine with that too, but I think it's important for us to have members of our fire service in Oconee to step in and do those roles in those times of need, whoever it may be. And if the municipal team has enough, and we can supplement that with more people, then that's, but from my understanding, Gabe needs all the help he can get.
Okay.
So, and the committee that I wanna try to put together would be people from the municipal and the county and the volunteers to kinda sit down, let's all talk about it. And if we're fine where we are, okay, but I just know that the last few times, we've had to have the sheriff's department step in more to help with the fire service stuff.
Do you want us to go ahead and poll our membership now for interest, or wait until you've got the committee formed?
Let's let the committee kind of come up with with what they think and what would be beneficial for the group. And if Gabe feels like they're fine where they are, then okay, but I know the county departments have utilized them in the past. I can remember when I was chief at Westminster, sometimes it was a struggle to get enough people to go, because there's always last minute, somebody had plans to make sure you had enough to fulfill the wishes of the department and the family. So,
And you gonna pick this committee, or?
yes. Well, and that's what I'm working on. I've asked Gabe if he would sit on it, because he's kind of pretty much in charge of what they've had.
Do we need to put fillers out to see if we have anybody interested in being part of this?
Be fine. I'm good with that. And this is not something we have to do overnight.
Yes, sir.
It took the three cities a while to get it established when we did it, so. And I'm not trying to take nothing away from them.
All right, any other comments or questions?
Only thing I got, back to the guys being at different stations, is there any way on the boxes to have the 21 guys tone in the first alarm for rescue calls for all the stations?
So you want 21 toned on all initial rescue calls?
Yeah, well, that's, a lot of my chiefs stuff, they've toned us 2 or 3 times, and then probably the third tone or something, they finally toned 21 a lot of times. I think they're already doing it for Station 11, but some of the guys at 16 were wanting to see about having them tone on initial tone for rescue in West Virginia district.
We can check with all those chiefs in your district to see which ones want that. It's not fast changing box alarms, but we can,
Well, they just want to get them in the first set of tones instead of waiting until the third tone or whatever.
okay.
All right. No other discussion. We'll move on to commissioner updates. Start Region 1.
All's good that I know of.
Region 2.
Well, I've got ahead of myself there, I should have waited till that, but I appreciate it. I ain't got nothing else.
Region 3.
I don't have anything.
Region 4.
Well, since this is my first night, it's probably gonna be the best night I've got, so I've got nothing at this point.
Okay.
Hey, you can't wrap that in this face.
Region 5. I've got a couple of things. with this deployment change and all that, I think it, not only would it be helpful, it should be mandatory. All the stations give y'all rosters. I think all the stations need a roster of the 21 staff, so they'll know who's who on truck, what days, all that stuff. Now, understand that's subject to change with, sickness, emergency, what have you.
Sign sheet.
Yeah, but it would be nice to know that. I know y'all send out an active every morning, but maybe first of the week, you email that out to the chiefs or somebody. That way, on what given day, where they're at and what, who's coming, their name. It's just not, hey, you, it's, you know who's there.
Okay.
So I think that would be helpful and, all rosters, not even fire service, any sort of roster, changes with the wind these days. But if there's some sort of update, monthly, quarterly, whatever, I think that'd be appropriate to send that out. I've heard that from several departments. They just don't know. They know 21 units coming, but they don't know who they are, and it's like, well, it would be nice to know who's coming, so.
Makes sense.
If that, probably one of those things, if you, want to work as a team, that might build some camaraderie between those departments and just to have a heads up and who knows. That's all I've got on that. I'm gonna pass, if you'll pass these down. Yeah, they go together. There's 2 pages here. Steve, I've got one for you. I'm gonna give one to them as well. I talked to the chiefs in Region 5, and this kind of goes into my report on the next thing, but we're running out of folks to serve on the commission. Historically, it's always been a fire chief that has served as Region 5 commissioner, and that has been due to personnel issues. It's sort of hard to put a subordinate on a commission and they answer to somebody higher, 9 to 5, basically. So the chiefs, we've talked in Region 5, and we would like the commission to support us going towards the county to see if they would change the ordinance that would allow the Region 5 commissioner not to have to live in that region. The cities that work, Salem, Walhalla, Westminster, Seneca, they don't require their paid staff to live either in that district or right there in the municipality. So it's cutting down on the number of folks that can serve on the commission. There's a couple, well, when I was a chief, I lived in the region. Kevin Wilbanks lives in the region, and that's all we've got to choose from. The other chiefs do not, but they're employed by the municipality, so by virtue, they have to, they do represent those departments, so.
We need to vote on it as a commission.
I would, we can discuss it, but I would like to make the motion that we pass Resolution 2023-1 that gives the chair the authority to approach county council to ask for them to change the ordinance in respect to Region 5.
I'll second the motion.
Now, if there's any discussion, we want to make amendments, well, let's have at it.
Well, I understand what you're going through, because I've talked to a lot of the guys in Salem and Wall, yeah, y'all got nobody to choose from.
Yeah.
So, I make a motion with.
I mean, to me, it's good sense, being a municipal representative, you're not like the volunteer representatives where you should be living in that region. If you're a municipal representative, then you're working for a government entity where that residency requirement shouldn't be held up.
talking like a chief or a assistant chief or?
A chief officer, and, you know, their municipality, their jurisdiction doesn't require them to live there, but they have to live there in order to represent their municipality and the others in Region Five. So I think that creates undue hardship on Region Five with the way it's currently organized.
Like I say, I understand what you're saying, because when we thought you were gonna step off of it, we was trying to figure out who was gonna do it for y'all. There's nobody.
It's difficult putting an employee in that position, and just facts are facts. There's very little volunteers for the municipalities anymore. We've got a motion and a second. Are there any other discussion?
Scott, them, y'all have to take it to the county council.
Well, technically, this is written from the chair.
Yeah, I would present it to the county. Yep, yep.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Being no discussion, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? There is none. Resolution carried. I appreciate that. We'll take that before the county. I just, in closing, I just want to thank Austin for stepping in this past year and being vice chair. I appreciate your help. I know I was absent a few times, so I appreciate you serving on the committee and taking care of stuff. Mr. Brock, welcome.
Yes, sir.
Pleasure to have you here. I know you'll do well. And Tony, thank you for agreeing to be the vice chair, and I know you'll do well too. So it's a pleasure to serve with all of y'all.
Appreciate it. It'll be a learning process. I learned all the motions and votes and all that.
We'll walk you through it.
Yeah, it'll be fine. You'll do fine. So, because there might be days I won't be here. So, all right. Well, unless there's anything else for the good of the order.
Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
All right.
Thank y'all.